Hey everyone, here's an awkward 6 minutes of useless information about Yasuo and Yone. Let's go. During development, Yasuo's wind wall used to be placeable at any point within 1,000 units of him. It would have been very similar to how Anivia's wall works today. Yasuo was originally going to have 2 swords. Obviously, they ended up changing that. However, this concept was eventually handed over to Yone, as you already know. One of Yone's scrapped abilities was a flame wall that would have blocked vision for the other team. I'm sure the League community would have loved that. In 2017, Yasuo players lived, or should I say survived, for an average of 4.1 minutes between deaths, which was the second shortest lifespan on the Rift. And to be honest, it probably hasn't changed much since then. The flute that Yasuo plays in his dance animation is a shakuhachi, a Japanese end-blown flute. However, when Yasuo uses his high noon skin, he uses a harmonica instead. And on his project skin, he uses a wind controller. On the other hand, the instrument Yone plays is called a morinher. In one of my other videos, I mentioned that Yasuo and Yone can start each other's dances, but what I didn't mention is the song they both play go together, which is also why one triggers the other. Yone was made taller and thinner than Yasuo in order to give him more of a distinct body shape and a silhouette to capture the feeling of an undead samurai. Yasuo isn't actually his birth name. He was given the name when he joined the sword school in an effort to steady his wild nature. And the word Yasuo actually means calm and peaceful one. Yasuo's quote, "A wanderer isn't always lost," is a reference to a line in a poem called "All That Is Gold Does Not Glitter," written by none other than J.R.R. Tolkien. On April 1st, 2017, Riot released a prank Yasuo rework, and one of the updates was his wind wall, which would go on all sides of him, which was funny until they released Samir and Gwen. They also edited his Q to multiply the tornadoes once it hit a target. Kinda would have been funny if they released it just for one day in normals. Just one. Yasuo is science is a phrase you may or may not have heard of, but it's used mostly in Korea joking at how all Yasuo players feed, and it's an insta-loss if you have one on your team. There is a bug with Yone's Battle Academia skin where it would change the picture on the minimap and the profile above it. Someone even confirmed it in the coding. A YouTube channel called AWE Me crafted a real-life version of Yasuo's blade, which can be seen here. Yasuo would flash his mastery in TFT if he won and was the last or sole remaining character alive. One of the names considered for Yone was Dusk. Yasuo mains tend to AFK 2.91% of the time. Project Yasuo was originally going to be called Cyber Ops Yasuo, and the skin is also a reference to Samuel from the Metal Gear series. Yone is one of 20 champions without a single ability power ratio on any ability. One of the original concepts for Yasuo's Q was it for to strike slightly left and slightly right, however they found it was too freaking hard to hit the stupid thing, so they ended up scrapping it entirely. One of Yasuo's original concepts for his ultimate was very similar to a giant Shen dash that would stun everybody in a target area and then inflict massive burst damage after a short delay. They even went as far as creating a prototype for it, so who knows how close this was to actually coming into the game. Comment below if you think this would have been worse or better than the one he has today. Pick your poison. Upon release, Yone was able to use his E to recall, buy from the shop, and then return to his original spot when he had Baron buff, but it was later patched. It also worked with teleport. According to 2 Riot employees, Yasuo prefers crunchy peanut butter over creamy peanut butter. I told you this was useless. Apparently, Yasuo also uses Pantene for shampoo and conditioner, so yeah, you're welcome.
Don't hate me because I'm beautiful.
When Yasuo was younger, he was falsely accused of murdering his master, but it was actually Riven. Her blade shattered and a stray shard accidentally killed him. They accused him because they were looking for a wind user. According to the lore, after hearing that Yasuo was the alleged killer of their master, Yone was heartbroken and filled with negative thoughts and feelings that fed the Azakana, which were basically demons. The Azakana is actually what you see on Yone's face in the game today. His red blade is also from an Azakana that he fought as well. After hearing the news, Yone pursued Yasuo, and Yasuo was forced to kill him, which is also where Yasuo got the scar on his face from. While on the run, Yasuo eventually crossed paths with Talia and even helped teach her how to control her powers. In other words, Earthbend. When they parted ways, she gifted him with a long thread of her hand-spun wool tunic, which is now what he uses to tie his hair. When it came to Yasuo's wind wall, most players suggested it would be a great ability for support players, but it was none other than Hotshot GG that suggested the ability would be best suited for a melee AD carry. In other words, it's quite possible that this guy single-handedly gave the wind wall to Yasuo instead of a support champion. Here's a clip of Garen as Yasuo. Yone's voice actor Nashir Dalal has done some work in popular games such as Red Redemption 2 and is also in Sekiro. Yasuo was estimated to be around or very close to 28 years old. Yasuo's quote, "No cure for fools," is a reference to the movie Yojimbo, which also inspired the champion. Other movies that drew inspiration for Yasuo was Seven Samurai and Harakiri, Death of Samurai. The average Yasuo and Yone main are silver 3. Yasuo is one of the only champions to have been in every TFT set. Yone is the 150th champion in League and was also introduced into Runeterra before League of Legends, except he was a little less dead there. Riot originally wanted Yone to be an alternative to Yasuo because they wanted to lower Yasuo's pick rate since so many people played him. However, they eventually decided they couldn't do that without just creating Yasuo 2.0. So instead, they decided to make Yone his own person. So if you think Yone is like Yasuo now, it was going to be a lot worse. At some point, Yone ran into Lilia in the lore and vowed to protect her from any Azakana or demons, hence the voice line,
"On a cliff by the sea, I found the strangest spirit. It walked on 4 legs and spoke of dreams."
Yasuo has a quote where he says,
"Would you? No, I wouldn't."
which is a response to Yi for a quote where he says,
"Would you pass me that potion?"
And some quick repeats that were too good not to mention again. The voice actor of Yasuo is Liam O'Brien, who is also the voice actor of Gaara from Naruto. The Killer Ray created a custom skin called Wheelchair Yasuo that has Yone pushing him around and slamming him into the ground when they recall. Also, Yone's death emote is of him dying. If you didn't know, I have a whole series on useless League of Legends information, and I've just started covering champions too, so make sure to check those out here or on my channel. Anyways, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!